Hi, I'm Rick Péwé for Gone Jeepin'.
And I'm Chris Collard. We are here in Moab, Utah today to drive the new Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is the 2-row. We've already done the 3-row. That was back, maybe a month ago.
Yep, a few months ago.
But now we have the 2-row, and it's a little bit different, and we have a variety. Of course, we have the Summit Reserve, and we have the
Overland,
and the Trailhawk.
And the Trailhawk.
Right. So we won't talk about any other vehicles you may see on this trip, but that's what we're driving.
Yeah, we got a variety of cars. It's going to be fun. Of course, the Trailhawk is their premier model for off-road capability.
Right.
Summit Reserve, which is the one we're going to be taking off for an on-road trip up into the LaSalle Mountains.
Right.
And that is their like premium luxury, with the amazing stereo system.
Right.
And all of the ingrained wood.
And 21-inch wheels.
And 21-inch wheels.
Which is interesting, while the Trailhawk has 18-inch wheels, which is the most off-road capable. So we're going to get a little bit of either one so we can find out which is better. Or, for our purposes, better. And we're starting where?
Right below Lion's Back.
Right.
So this is obviously the famous Lion's Back.
That's right.
Closed for a few years, but I remember at the 75th anniversary, we had the pleasure of actually driving up it.
Driving up, yeah.
75th anniversary Jeeps.
Yeah, and I haven't driven it up, I'd say about 15, 20 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been closed for quite a while. So that was an epic anniversary for Jeep. No two ways about it.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're glad you're going to join us today for this drive of the new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I say we grab our keys, or our fob. Our fob.
The brick.
Grab the
Throw
brick.
it in the center console and go.
So what better place to spend a day than along the Colorado River near Moab, Utah. It's just truly incredible. So just heading up this Highway 128, going to go up into a place called the LaSalle Loop. Takes us up to the midway up the LaSalle Mountains, and just getting a feel for the vehicle. It's got full electric power steering. So one of the things I'm looking at on these like constant radius corners is how predictable, how it tracks through the corner. And I was always worried when they came out with electric power steering that it would be a little jerky when you give it a little input, but it's got, surprisingly and thankfully, it's got a very natural feel. When I say natural, I mean like a good hydraulic power steering system. Just about regarding sensitivity, about literally one finger's worth, which is about less than 5 degrees on the wheel, and you've got positive feedback coming, or it's starting to turn basically. So yeah, that's nice. And we've been going through the nav systems, the audio system. Still can, if you look down here, we've got a passenger screen, which Rick put all kinds of fingerprints on. We can't figure out how to get it to work. But rolling in here, we got navigation. This is our route on the Colorado River. I can go to the vehicle systems. By the way, don't try this at home.
Or while you're driving?
Or while you're driving, yes. I'm just going to go for the forward-facing camera and see what that tells us. Look at that. Yep. Oh, wait, we're going backwards. All right. So we got a little rain last night, you can see. One of the other cool things is that on the dash, on the instrument cluster, they've always had just about everything on the instrument cluster. The new one, they really wanted to make sure that you could access everything with your left thumb. So just hitting the button over here on my left thumb will take me through the various screens, from just standard speedometer, one that says I'm not allowed to use this one, your apps, back to your audio system or your music, and then you probably can't see it, but then I've got the heads-up display on the dash, which is showing the speed limit, the speed, and that's great. And now I'm driving through the camera. All right. Anyway, super comfortable. This is the Summit Reserve, and if you notice that we've got a lot of very high-end natural products used for the interior. So we've got, Palermo leather. This color is Tupelo.
Tupelo honey.
Tupelo honey. Thanks, Rick. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Sing it.
nicely stitched. We've got carved walnut across the dash, on actually all the way around. It's kind of like a 360-degree carved walnut. So, I mean, for a couple of dirt bags that usually drive old Jeeps, yeah. And I forgot to mention the entertainment system. I mean, look at this. It looks like kind of it looks like a can of tobacco.
It's a skull
But
can.
this is like a Macintosh 950 watt stereo system with like I think 19 speakers. Just amazing. So we were rocking out to like tunes of the 70s. And what do we got? Oh, Sirius XM. Yep, beauty. I'm just gonna let that go. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to give you a few of the highlights here. Also have we don't need the seat warmers today, but we do have the massage going. And that's actually a pretty cool function. I'm just going to go down here to the screen and see if we can go to comfort. And we'll go here to the massage. Don't do this while you're driving. There we go. And you see, this is what's happening on our backside. Here we've got this custom massage happening. Yep. Oh, what are they going to come up with next?
Only in a Grand Cherokee.
All right. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this very, very comfortable drive up to our turnout. Oh,
Wow.
and we got traffic. Look at these.
And he
Grand
didn't even
Cherokees
say.
everywhere. Huh?
Wow. You didn't even look.
I know. Journalists.
Journalists, they're all the same. All right, so yes, we did about a 20-mile loop, Gas Valley Road here in Moab, Utah, and it was a little bit windy and steep, tight corners, hairpins, things like that. And I noticed that the steering is really, really nice. It's not too sensitive. Like if I do this right now, I mean, it's like a slot car. It's not flopping and rolling. And
Yeah.
we'll hit
That's
this
one of the things. That's one of the things I noticed on the corners. Like
Yeah.
what you call your roll cycle.
Right.
When you come into the, it's not like an old tuna boat. Yeah.
It's so much more improved over the previous generation. But it's interesting that they did a completely different front suspension too. And they have a virtual ball joint. You like that one?
Yeah. So how does the virtual ball joint work? I always think that they're like pieces of metal with a ball and
Yeah.
some
No,
grease in them.
This floats in midair and isn't really there. That's why it's virtual.
Right.
No, they actually use two ball joints, and one is on the comfort arm, so yes, you get another link, but you can tune that independently from the regular bottom link, so that's what gives it a little bit better stability and comfort. Right, that's that
When you're
flat
cornering.
contact patch.
Right.
And also they did the rear changed to a 5-link from a 4-link, which also helps you excuse me, be more connected, shall we say, to the road.
It's linked.
It's linked.
It is linked.
Now remember, it still has the same engine.
Yeah, 3.6 Petrostar. I mean, motor. It's proven. It puts out 260 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. It's not a 392.
No,
But
but it goes. Listen to
I've
it.
never had a problem with the Petrostar. I think this is a great platform. And it gets reasonable fuel economy.
Yeah.
Actually pretty good.
Well, unless you're in it all the time, like I am.
Like driving
that.
like Rick.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
So
a great,
what are the
great motor.
stats? 19 and 26.
Yeah, and that's really comparable to anything else.
Right.
Except this has a far better 4x4 pedigree than, let's say, some of those other brands.
Mm-hmm.
It has an active transfer case. You like that word, active transfer case? I mean, they make it 3 different ways. Quadra-Track 1 is a single-speed transfer case.
Right.
Quadra-Track 2 is a 2-speed
transfer
transfer case. And then you have Quadra-Drive 2, which is this active transfer case that puts torque to whichever tire needs it most.
And when you get the Quadra Drive, you get rear limited slip.
Right. Electronic.
limited slip.
Yep. And on your off-road pages, you can actually see it when it locks in automatically.
It's another cool thing we were talking about. You've got the off-road pages, and you can go into basically select terrain. Some of the information on this page is actually your latitude, longitude, and your elevation. I don't know why it says altitude, because that's when you're off the ground. But if we go into, remember our old bubble gauges that we were talking about, we've got pitch and roll, kind of cool. and we had that up at, what, 22 degrees?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then got our accessory gauges. You got your oil temp, coolant temp, oil pressure, trans temperature, and voltage, 14.3, so we're comfortable with that. And then here, go to that page. This is actually showing what your vehicle is doing. So we just came off the trail. We can see that our rear differential is unlocked. I can see it. Rick's turning the wheels. We've got declination of the front tires, so angle of the front tires, and that we are engaged in four-wheel drive. So the new vehicle, the new Grand Cherokee, has a disconnectable front drive line, and when it disconnects, it's on. Like I said, it's on the drive line, and it'll slip back, and then that little lock icon will go away. So those are off-road pages. It gives you a whole bunch of information about your vehicle, what it's doing. And I think I'd probably end up leaving it on engine vitals. Yeah.
And in fact, talking about screens, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We got loads of screens.
Yeah, lots.
There's more screens back here in the back, just in case your Chrome crunchers, need to watch. I don't know.
Right, and they have their separate
Video games.
air conditioning too.
Well, yeah.
What's with that?
I think. Did you have that when you were a kid, Rick?
Hell no.
I don't remember that.
Heck no.
We had air conditioning. Oh, totally.
Oh, we didn't.
You just open the window.
No.
It's conditioned by the sun. Mother Nature.
2-door, 3 kids crossing Nevada and Arizona in the summer.
I don't even remember.
That's
We had
awesome.
seatbelts in the back.
Another nice thing this Jeep has is a heads-up display. Right in front of me on the glass, or virtually floating in midair, is a heads-up display, and it's telling me the speed limit, how fast I'm speeding, because I am.
You're going over the speed limit?
I haven't had a chance to get it matched yet. And also the road. And it tells me I am Moab Route 1 or something. No, State Route 1.
All right, so right now we're heading back to town. Spent the morning on LaSalle Loop Road, and that was fun. So we're going to go check out, see how this thing does in a kind of a technical off-road course.
Right, we'll be putting it into 4-low, using the rear locker and all that kind of stuff. And ideally, I'd like to get into a Trailhawk.
Well, that's what we're going to be driving.
Okay,
Trailhawk.
good. Trailhawk, of course, comes with 18-inch wheels and slightly more aggressive tires, whereas what we're driving are 21-inch wheels. Yeah. Which does give it better handling on the road.
Sure. So where we're going is to the top of one of the rims here around Moab, actually on the east side of the valley. And man, this is beautiful. We are catching last light.
Doesn't get much better.
It does not get much better than that.
One thing to remember about Moab, though, once the sun's down, it gets cold at this time of year.
Yes,
you go out in t-shirts and everything else, you get caught out here, you're in a world of hurt. Always bring your warm clothes, your water, your food. Anything can and will happen.
So we're on just kind of a loose, rocky section. It would technically be like a graded cat track.
And at one time, this actually used to be a regular road.
I think it was. Yeah.
Right.
Little chunks of either that or they put the concrete on there because that corner is like really tight. So if you haven't driven a vehicle that has four-wheel independent suspension and an air suspension, it's definitely different than driving like some old school vehicle with leaf springs. Definitely don't have as much pitch and roll. When you get on the side hill stuff or hit big rocks, but it doesn't have the articulation either. This vehicle's got pretty good articulation considering it's independent all the way around. But where it makes up for that is that it's got a really good traction control system, or basically rear locking differential, limited slip differential. So it's constantly monitoring, the computer is constantly monitoring, which tire is doing what, how much torque it needs, how much power, when to.
Only engages when necessary, and that's one of the nice things about it. Because of all the sensors, it knows, it can tell about wheel slipping when you do need it within just a fraction of a second. Otherwise, yeah, you just have a mechanical locking differential, and that'd be all there is to it.
So one cool thing is, and I'm going to use it right now, really tight turn. I probably could have made it if I did a little bit better job navigating, is the reverse camera. So it not only has a forward-facing camera, actually 360, I think, but the reverse, so I can actually look back. I got some big rocks there behind me.
You know, it's nice to actually put this thing through the paces on technical terrain.
Well, sure.
You know, a lot of people that buy this vehicle would never ever think about coming up and doing this type of a
They would
trail.
never ever do this type of trail.
Did Rick say never ever?
Most people would never
Never
ever
ever ever. Yeah, I mean this is. You know,
But the cool thing is a capable vehicle. It
Right.
will do this trail.
Right.
All right, so now we're at a little technical, we're going to call it a rock crawling course. It's really fun because it exemplifies how this vehicle will go over, let's say, 2 foot, 3 foot boulders, up and down and around. And that's really the cool part about it, is the new model has this sway bar disconnect, and that allows it to actually drop the tires onto the ground so that you have traction available. Now you got to remember that all of these beeps and buzzes, because we have our sensors on, that tells us there's rocks in the way. It's so good to have the Jeep Jamboree crew out here because they've taken all these Jeeps over here a million times. Here's another thing about having a good spotter. You already know the trail. You know what you're going to do. It's kind of fun to see what they're going to tell you to do and see if you're in sync. Finally goes. And then we'll let it settle back down. Come on, baby. Settle down. This is a lot of fun. This Jeep is just doing phenomenally well. The electronic limited slipper differential really helps. You can tell when it goes clunk and you go forward. It's not like a limited slip it back and forth, back and forth. It works like it should.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flight 2022 Grand Cherokee. Please put your seatbelts on, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. So Rick had his shot at coming around this little off-road course. And man, was that light awesome or what? Absolutely beautiful. Now I got my turn. So, you know, one of the things on a course like this, especially, you know, in an automatic, they don't have compression braking. And so I use what I call the Sammy Hagar driving technique, and that is 1 foot on the brake and 1 on the gas. Keeps you from hitting the gas and then launching up and over obstacles and crashing down the other side. So right now we're kind of going into this blind little drop off. This is where we're going to get tire high. So right here, that front tire, and the computer's telling me that I got an obstacle in front of me. Right there, the balance. Now we're see if we can teeter-totter it. I got it on full lock. There we go. Nice. So you can see that's where the limited slip differential in the back makes a huge difference, because you're not going to get over that type of a teeter-totter situation without having a locker or a limited slip in the front or in the back. You know, and you can see we went over that. It's very smooth. You got control because 1 foot on the brake, 1 on the gas. And we're coming up on a tight ledge. Nice. Yeah, very smooth. If you remember some of the the traction control systems back in the day, they were very clunky. Like you had to get the wheel speed up to like 2 or 3 miles an hour, with completely counterintuitive to what you should be doing, you know, when you're like slow and in control. But they've gotten so much better that, I mean, I'm feeling this wheel speed at about, I don't know, close to nothing. Yeah, so I mean, I'm at like a fraction of a mile an hour on wheel speed, and you know, the limited slip is kicking in, the traction control is kicking in the front. Yeah, it just works. What I would say is seamless, pushing the limits. I mean, you could probably take this vehicle a little bit further. I mean, they did the Rubicon just recently in this new Grand Cherokee, and it is by far more difficult than this trail. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, that was fun.
It's amazing what this vehicle will do with, you know, we got 18-inch tires, but, you know, I mean, we're not aired down. We're just using the control systems that are on the vehicle, electronic limited slip differential, and man, just went through that. Some pretty technical terrain too. I was impressed with that. So I'm going to get on down to the end of the track here.
So that's the end of our test drive of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'll tell you what, it was a lot of fun. It was an incredible vehicle, and as far as Gone Jeeping deal, I think our guys are going to like it, and girls.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not a Wrangler, not a Rubicon,
No.
but man, it is so comfortable to drive. It's like super comfortable and capable, and like the electronic systems. I mean, for family who wants to go out to any backcountry area
With the cooler.
with a cooler,
Yeah.
gaggle of kids, everybody's got an on-screen monitor and entertainment,
And tow a boat.
and 7,200 pounds on the Trailhawk, 7,200.
Yeah.
Right, towing capacity. So, yeah, I mean, I think I just had a great time. And you got to look around, Rick, because we're in Moab and the sun just set.
Yeah, it's not our first time here, but it's always
And
a good time here.
It doesn't get much better than that.
Moon's coming up too. All right, so we got to get going off this hill so we can get down the hill before it's dark. So, Chris Collard and Rick Péwé for Gone Jeeping. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
See you guys.